The Sonic Movie Show is a weekly podcast that you can find on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, and YouTube. Just search for The Sonic Movie Show and give us a like wherever you listen. I knew there was something up when I was taking directions to get home from the theater, and it's like having me not even go on 95 at all. I'm like, that's odd. I want to go on 95 though, because that's the way I'm comfortable. And I get on.
That was the worst. Yeah, I usually trust exactly what it says.
It says, yeah, take the immediate first exit. I'm like, no, that's dumb. I have literally 11 more exits to pass before I get to mine. That's dumb. Then like, oh, I see the time remaining, 30 minutes, 44 minutes, 55 minutes. I'm like, fuck. It just goes up and up and up.
Jeez. Feel that, though. It took me an hour the one day to get home, which usually takes me 15 minutes. So, because they closed off the exit.
Yeah. Remember when it took me 2 hours to get from work to your house?
Yeah. That was when I moved, too.
Yeah. I was so pissed. I was so hungry. Welcome to the Sonic Movie Show, inaugural episode, I guess 16, right? This is the show that's, I don't know, whatever. I hated this movie. We watched Cats.
Are we actually going with this?
Yeah, it's 11:05 p.m. I've been in the car for an hour and a half. I should have been here 5 times faster. We watched Cats, the 2019. I'm even eating. I don't give a shit. We watched Cats.
Hey, all the cats are eating a lot in this film, so you get a pass.
My cat is eating right now, actually. I have the door open. Maybe she'll walk in. Maybe she'll have a fucking human face. I don't know.
Do we want to...
How about we... Okay, first off, spoiler-free.
Okay.
Quick spoiler-free thoughts.
Just reactions?
Describe your thoughts of the film in spoiler-free ways.
Well... First thing is everyone who's listening, whether you're a Cats fan, musical fan, I don't know what your thoughts are. I didn't know anything about Cats before going into this. I did a little research and saw that's made by Andrew Lloyd Webber, who also did Phantom of the Opera and a couple other things. I'm like, okay, I guess he's legit. And I guess the original idea of Cats is based off a bunch of poems in the 1920s. I'm like, okay. So that's all I really knew going in, and I knew a couple names just from memes and stuff. But I'm actually going to... You're probably going to hate this, but I'm actually going to say that I enjoyed it. And I know I'm probably going to be the only person on the planet that's going to say it, because I know a lot of the reviews aren't good. I'm going to say I enjoyed it. Not saying it's a great film by any means, but I liked it. I had fun. I didn't hate my time with it. I felt it was slow at some points, but I didn't know any of the songs. So I guess it was fun to be like, hey, this song, I like this song.
I knew one song, and I'm like, wait, that's from this?
Yeah, I didn't know anything in terms of music or what the plot really was. The only thing I really knew about the plot was that there's a gang of cats, and they one of them, old Deuteronomy, decides which cat gets to go to the afterlife of some sort, reincarnation thing.
I had no idea what that
I will
was.
say that the movie really didn't, I feel like it explain that much. I'm sure maybe it explains it more in the musical, because I'm sure that the musical is a lot longer than...
Well, I think it was trying to go for more of an abstract mysticism type thing.
Yeah.
But again, I having not watched the musical or even the movie of the musical, because the older version...
I know my girlfriend who watched it, she's seen the musical and she didn't really like it, but she said that it was pretty close. So I wish I kind of knew more about Cats, obviously, in terms of
I wish I knew
reaction.
less.
But I actually liked it. I actually find it's weird. It's definitely weird, but I like weird stuff. So I like that it just stuck to what it was. It didn't ever try to be something it wasn't, I guess. It's like, hey, this is going to be weird, and that's okay. Even like, I feel like the whole brand has been like that. I know their Twitter account, people have been, shitting on them or whatnot, and they've been like, whatever, this is what it's going to be. And I do like, I like the whole cast. I thought they had a lot of different types of people from... different. I mean, just like a wide variety of people. I thought that was cool.
Such a wide variety of people. I wasn't sure if anyone was supposed to be an extra or actually an actor, because I couldn't tell who was real or not.
Yeah.
My thoughts. I did not like this movie at all. I thought this movie was paced terribly. There were several parts in this movie where I'm like, I don't know if this is the end of the movie or
that's
the
music.
beginning.
I feel like that's some musicals too. Like.
But I've seen quite a bit of musicals, and I can still get a general sense of the plot and the structure. But there were points in like the third act where I'm like, is the movie still starting? I have no conception of time because this movie is going so slowly. I thought that there were plenty of times too where everyone's singing at once and I cannot understand a single word. except when one person is breaking out and is louder. And there are also many of choreographic errors where, like, I don't know if it was the theater we were in, but people were moving so fast that it was actually hard to see what was going on. And there's one moment where the camera pans and spins around in a circle, and it's fast but slow. It's trying to show every individual person, but it's going so fast that it was a weird frame rate thing for me. And I think that might have been our projector. I don't know. I don't want to maybe blame the movie, but it seemed like there was a big enough part that I think you would have focused on. I don't know. I had no idea what was going on in that scene. There's plenty of things where I'm like, there's too much. There's too many cats on the screen. You need to show only a couple if you actually want to make what you're showing matter. I thought some of the songs were good. The song that I had recognized was Moonlight, or Memories. I think it's called Memories.
I don't know any of the titles, but I think I know which one you're talking about.
I knew that, but only through, like, having other people sing it, whether in a parody or just a reference, you know what I mean? Never the thing. And I had no idea it was in Cats. I would have assumed it was in, I don't know, something akin to, like, The Color Purple, but not The Color Purple. Like, something like that, where, like, oh, this is a famous, serious thing, not Cats. Maybe that ruins that song. And there were plenty of musical parts in the movie that I was like, is this supposed to be, like, embarrassingly funny? Because I can't tell. Overall, if I were to recommend this movie to someone, that person already was interested in it. So then no. Like, I wouldn't recommend this movie to a single person. If you have to question even the tiniest bit, do I want to see this movie? Then the answer is no. If you are already like, yes, I'm going to go see Cats, then I think this movie is for you, because this was not for me.
Yeah, that's the thing I think with this. I feel like it's a very niche thing. And I know a lot of theater people I've talked to who've told me that, like, Cats is like, it's a mix between of a joke, but also appreciative of it. It's kind of a weird, like...
I've heard similar things. I've heard that it's a classic, but it's not Phantom of the Opera as, like, a classic that's like, oh, that's a classic. Like, this is a classic that's also a bit of a train wreck, but, like, one that you want to ride, I guess. That's how people have described it.
Yeah.
Also being, very flamboyant also helped, a couple decades ago, help giving people a bit of an identity. So obviously it has that going for it.
Because the original play came out in 1981. So that kind of gives you a sense. I feel like most people who are listening to this probably might not have seen the play or watched it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe someone who's listening to this is a big Cats fan. Well, welcome.
I'm sorry. I apologize for what I'm about to say.
But no, but the thing is like, to me, I kind of look at it like this is the Sonic movie show, as like Sonic, maybe in the sense that, like, some people just don't like Sonic because it's sometimes bad or he's sucks.
Sometimes? We mean just sometimes.
Most of the time he's bad. So, like, hey, you either like it or you don't, and I respect if you like it. I'm not going to crap on it. Like, I can dislike it for various reasons, but I actually liked it for its weirdness, and it's so weird, and I just love that people enjoy it.
I will crap on the movie. I will not crap on someone wanting to like the movie, and the reasons why they want to like it. My favorite Star Wars is The Last Jedi. That is a crazy thing to hear from a lot of people. And I know Cats is going to be someone's, like, movie of the year. Like, they were so happy. There are plenty of people in our theater that I can tell don't go to the movies. And they went to see Cats.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's the musical audience that they're the ones who are going into theaters. While we're going to movies, they're going to,
the theater
Broadway,
theaters.
The plays, yeah. So, it's definitely a different type of art, and I think that's what makes it kind of hard. I think for people who are more moviegoers like us, I think it maybe someone who's really into playwriting and all that, being like, this is actually brilliant because of this and that, but maybe not. Maybe I would love to. I wish we had someone here who can who's maybe seen it or has been more involved in that kind of thing to have a kind of a sense on it. I mean, I've seen people's opinions on it, and it's mostly negative. So. Yeah, but I've also gone into things before where people say it's bad and I liked it, and vice versa. So
like Solo.
Yeah.
Like, that movie actually lost money and no one wanted to like it going in, and no one really seemed to like it, but I liked it a lot. So it's definitely a thing. I do applaud the movie for being confident on its visuals and what it's going for. It did not stick the landing at all. Kind of like Rebel Wilson in the movie. I guess we're in spoiler territory now, but
I mean, this play's been out.
But hold on, I applaud it for its confidence, mainly because in the era of CG now, they could have just made them actual cats, and they could have just voiced them,
like a Lion King. scenario.
They could have actually made them cats. Instead, they wanted to go for no cats. Like, yes, Cats was a musical about animals portrayed by people. They could have done that, but its history is rooted in being a play. So we'll have them be like in a play. We're going to actually have people. They're actually going to do ballet kind of things. You know what I mean? So I applaud it for, like, not just being another animated movie for children. You know what I mean? That wouldn't make any money. At least it did something that's like, hey, this will be remembered for good or bad. You know what I mean? At least it's not going to be like, you know, in 50 years, how many attempts at Cats? Oh, there was that weird one in 2019 where they were all, you know, animated animals. And so at least it's something that's going to be memorable, but I think that's all it really has going for it.
Before we go into spoilers, I mean, it's not... I feel like most people either are not going to watch it or just going to listen to this because for the meme or whatever. But 'cause I know it's a very memey film, and I'm trying not to look at it that way. I'm really trying to give it a fair shot when I was going into this, being like, you know, yeah, it's funny because it looks weird. I get it. But I was trying to be, you know, honest to it. The real reason we're even talking about this, in case you're a random person who stumbled upon this, this show is about the Sonic movie.
Yeah.
That's coming out
February 14th.
And the original reason we're even looking at this is because of the animation and design of the cats themselves. Do we want to talk about that maybe for a little bit before we go into spoilers?
Well, to complete your thought, we wanted to have a reaction to this movie for this show because we wanted, mainly, at least in my opinion, to see how would people react to this kind of creepy / weird / you know, uncanny valley animation style for the people in a real-ish world setting, because then how would they react to Sonic? Now, obviously, yeah. Sonic has design changed, so it's not completely as relevant, but I think it's relevant enough that we can have an opinion on what we think people that watch this and their reactions.
I think the designs are definitely closer to the original Sonic design we saw, maybe not so much anymore.
I mean, he even says meow in that original trailer.
He does. By the way, we also did see the Sonic trailer on the full screen. They did show it, and I got really hyped. I don't know if anyone else was hyped in the crowd, but I was.
It got chuckles, but again, these are people that don't go to movies.
Hey, maybe they'll see it. Maybe they'll be like, you know what?
There's no way. Not in theaters.
You don't think?
Not in theater. There was no kids.
Would they see Sonic the Musical though?
Probably. I mean, I'm sure some of these people also watched how many people playing Spider-Man in that Broadway play die.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Like, people got injured. I know they cycled through like 5 or 6 Spider-Mans.
Before they're like, maybe we shouldn't.
And I know at least one died. So maybe Sonic will die too. So do we want to do what we have done for our previous 2 reactions to video movie things, where like I'll try to recap it, and since you read, you know,
we can do a really quick recap, since, like I said, I think you're either gonna know what
we'll do broad strokes.
Yeah, the narrative has been the same. The plot has been the same since the original 1981 play. So at this point, you probably know it. Isn't like this is like you have uncharted territory where no one knows the plot is going in. This isn't.
Well, to be a bit fair, a lot of people that are going to see this movie, I would imagine, have never seen a Cats thing before.
Maybe, yeah.
But
like us,
I guess I'll go ahead and start. Movie starts off with the only human. She drives in a car.
Maybe. We don't know. We never really show the face. Could be alien. This planet is weird.
Sure.
This planet is weird.
She gets out of her car. I notice she gets out on the right side, and I never thought about it until much later when they mentioned that they're in London. I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
None of them sound British, though, except Ian McKellen. And I think that was Professor McGonagall. I don't know. I should have actually looked up IMDb.
I have all the cast here.
Well, then, okay, so the woman gets out of the car, tosses a pillowcase with our I don't know if she's supposed to be our protagonist, but she's at least our deuterist, and she's played
we're following her the entire time. So
that's what a deuterist is. So who is she played by?
Francesca Hayward.
Okay, and her
I'll be honest, I thought was Taylor Swift, and I'm like, this can't be Taylor Swift.
No, they wouldn't. I knew going in, the main, at least after the first few minutes of seeing, okay, this is definitely the person that we're going to be following the movie through. They wouldn't have Taylor Swift do it. Taylor Swift is not an actor. She would also be really expensive, and they would have to do a lot of reshoots. There's just no way. They don't really do that for that kind of musician. But Victoria, as played by the person we just mentioned, is dumped down, and all these cats surround the pillowcase, and she's thrashing in it. And they do this weird thing where it's like a combination of aggression and curiosity, where they're like, man, fuck this thing, but also let's let it out and kind of look at it. So
classic cats.
I know. They let her out, and they all do this very suspicious song and dance number about this crazy new world she's about to be in. And I would say the set design is very weird, because this is when we get a pans up and we see, okay, it looks like there's a giant old theater called the Egyptian next to a milk bar. Like, how much of this is supposed to be fantasy? Like, everything in this area is all about cats. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How much is it a fantasy that they see? You know what I mean? Oh, this place where we can get food.
I mean, they're also not proportionate.
You know what I mean?
Too. They weren't really proportionate to like one of them was in a baby carriage, and they were like not bigger than a baby, but they didn't look like the same size of a cat.
All size, shapes, and sizes. Your cat's gigantic.
But they look short. It was weird.
And I think that's just how it happens. So we get to see like the alleyways, and it's both interesting, cool, weird, and bad. And I don't really know which one is more
of a dream world. I keep thinking it's almost like a purgatory kind of thing, where because they mentioned hell and heaven, so I'm like, maybe this is a purgatory thing.
Who knows?
Loosely.
I would like to know the creators, the writers of the play. I want to know what their like actual trying to perspective of this. Is it actually supposed to be super dreamlike, or is this supposed to be more like, what do cats see the world of humans as, kind of like a thing? So, yeah. But anyway, the cats do this whole song and dance number. It's the first one in the movie, and I can't understand a single word because everyone is singing at once. That was my issue with some of the songs. But they all do this dance number. They bring her to a graveyard, which I'm not quite certain what that was supposed to mean, where they ask her, what's your name? She says Victoria. They said, no, not the name the family gave you. I actually like that. They always call humans just the family. Like all cats have 3 names, and what's your real name, your true name, or whatever. And then I don't think that we ever found out. Like, they still all called each other by what I assume is just their human
it's
name.
listed as Victoria. I don't remember.
Is like their real name just kind of like a sense
else
that they give each other when they get close or something? Is it not literally a language thing?
It's like a gang name.
Yeah. I'm Styx, the Shiv Master. I like to poke people. They do that because, like, one of them says, it sounded like they were saying, okay, they're in the graveyard and they're doing the song and dance number, and one of the cats that's like a side character cat, not one of the main male cats, is up on a gravestone, and I was getting the impression that they're going to give her name based off someone that died, and obviously that didn't happen. So I was very confused, but that could have just been me. That it is possible that I might not understand something.
That's what I'm saying. That was my one critique of it. Was like, if I didn't read up about the first act ahead of time, I wouldn't have really known what they were saying, really, or what they were talking about. Because a lot of the words they use are very sound like very like old English slang almost. It's weird.
It's like they don't care to
who says Deuteronomy.
Tell people.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Is that a name? Is that a word? I had no idea, and I have no idea how it was spelled.
Deuteronomy is Judi Dench's character. That's like the main old one, old Deuteronomy. Yeah. So, but then you have Gus the theater cat. So it's like you'll have that, but then you'll have Mr. Mistopheles. So it's like very weird.
I'm going to call it an issue. I get it's a musical, and I get that in plays, like 85 to 90% of all words are spoken in song. But this movie didn't have enough people being like, all right, real talk, this is going on to the characters.
Yeah. There were some moments where they had it, and there's other times they didn't.
And some of it was for comedy, but it didn't really work. It's hard to be comedic in a serious sounding song, sure. So she says her name, they're all dancing or whatever, and the main male cat, the one with the collar, I don't know what his name was. And maybe it was mentioned.
The magician one?
No, the other one. One that was kind of like actually leading her on this adventure.
I'd have to look it up. There's so many listed here. I'm trying to remember which one.
Any case, a male cat who seems to be the one that trusts this new cat the most, Victoria.
I think it's Monkastrap. Munkustrap. I'm pronouncing that wrong.
Sure. And I don't know who the
Robbie
actor is.
Fairchild.
Maybe that's the person I'm thinking about. It probably is. Anyway, explains, gives her exposition, saying that once a year, all of like the Jellicle cats. What I don't know what
that's
was
the
there an
Jellicle.
extra...
That's what the one thing I'm glad I looked up ahead of time. That's why I knew exactly what they were talking about. Jellicle is like their tribe. That's their gang.
Okay, I thought they was supposed to be like an evangelical or something. Like
No.
they were leaving a vowel out, and I wasn't understanding what
This
they
is
meant.
why I'm glad you didn't look anything up because it makes it so much more funnier.
God, this movie is so
Yeah.
confusing. He explains that all of the Jellicle cats, which if they're a gang or a tribe, why are they not always together? Anyway, he says that they meet once a year when the big cat moon, I guess just a full moon or whatever, is in the sky, and there is a contest to some degree where the cat sings the songs about their true selves, and then they might get chosen for a thing. I don't remember if it's revealed what the thing is yet or not. And he's like, here, let me show you. Well, let's go to one of the contestants or whatever. I'm making this sound like it's a game show, not really. It's a lot of, this moment in the movie, it's a lot of very slow songs where there is enough pauses in between in the lines where I'm not sure if it ended or not, or if he's like about to speak real. You know, it was confusing for me. But they go into an open window to reveal Rebel Wilson's cat character, which I don't remember what their name was. And there's a lot of humor about her being overweight and not being able to be as graceful as the other cats. But she's also very happy about herself.
Jenny Dots. Jenny Dots.
But they gave her, like, this is the type of cat she is. She is a blank cat, whatever. And this was one of, like, the moments in the movie that I think was supposed to be, like, a delightful, funny thing musical number. And it just fell flat for me completely. Where, like, she sings the song about herself in her kitchen, the kitchen of her family or whatever, while the other cats climb in. And she's like, oh, I don't do much, but I get bored, so I do this. And it's like, she reveals that instead of eating the mice that live in the basement, which she seemed like she was suspicious of, she taught them how to dance. But then she also says it's dinner and a show, which made me think that they were going to eat the mice. But then they didn't. And then she makes the cockroaches come out, and they were animated weirdly enough. I almost thought they were stop motion.
Yeah, the frame rate was weird for them, I think.
It's almost like not enough time was put onto them or something.
They looked pretty bad, too, I think.
They looked really bad.
There's moments when it looked really good, and then there's moments when it looked pretty bad.
There's a character later on. This character doesn't look all that great because there is a real thing to compare the fake fur to. And you can just tell. Anyway, the song and dance number with the cockroaches. Rebel Wilson is eating some of the cockroaches. If I was one of the cockroaches, I would have ran immediately. What's going to happen? Like, they can't jump up really high, just fly away. Anyway, she explains who she is. That's all great. And then they all go outside, and I skipped a part where they foreshadow Idris Elba's character, who was named
McCavity.
McCavity. I kept calling him Calamity in my head. McCavity. He looked like he was a detective, but he's wanted. Again, the wanted poster's up on the wall. Like, that's the dreamlike thing. Like, none of these actual humans later on, we hear in a song and dance number, actually know who he is or anything like that. He's not like a killer. He's just some weird cat. But again, dreamlike movie. So we go outside, and they're all like about to go somewhere, or they're basically, the movie's like, we need to fill some time before we bump into the next character to sing about themselves. So we bring in Idris Elba again, and he Thanos snaps Rebel Wilson away.
Yeah, is that magic catnip or whatever?
They don't show where she goes
not
yet.
Not yet.
Not yet, but they disappear. He kind of like lures her away and says, oh, you could be a star or whatever, and then boom, they're gone. Then we get introduced to another cat, what is like a stray cat, this female cat. I don't remember what her name is either.
I think.
We'll go with that.
Jennifer Hudson plays her.
Yeah, yes. And they reveal that, oh, she used to be McCavity. I remember the name this time. McCavity's like, I think what basically Taylor Swift's character is later in the movie. I think she was supposed to be that earlier. I don't know.
Something like, basically she was supposed to be like the thing of the town, but like a sexy, like just like your main singer at the pub of like your jazz singer, who's just kills it every
but
night.
Whatever the cat version of that is.
Yes.
And she went off with McCavity, and then now she's nothing. She lives in the wastelands, they said, which is probably just some weird, disgusting alley. And she has, pelts on her, more of like kind of like how a real person would wear like a fur coat, but they're pelts. And this is the character I was mentioning before, where like you can see in the light reflector shining through the fur coats, the physical object that's around the actor, and then compare that to the CG fur of her head, and it's night and day. Like the actual object looks so much more real. Well,
here's the thing. I actually think at first I thought everything was CG on them, but I actually think they're they have makeup on, obviously. Tone they want with the fur, but I believe the ears and the top of the head is real.
Well, some of the ears definitely move, but they could have CG'd that.
No, I'm just saying I think they have like an animatronic set of ears that someone off stage is just moving here and there to like fit the expression. The way they moved looked way more mechanical than they did everything else. Looked way more CG. Like that was what I was really looking at, and like the fur looked way too real within the ears. If that's CGI, props to the CGI team who did that. I really think it's animatronics for the head part, and anything else below is CG, except for like you said, like the.
I feel like it was convincing up until it came face to face with
the lighting
real
was
things
weird
to
at some points
to.
too, which I don't think helped.
Well, it's a lot of moonlit and lamplit, street lamplit.
Yeah. When it was dark, it looked better. It looked better. Like most CG does.
The neon reflecting on some of these cats was not convincing either. And that's where people were memeing it in the trailers too. I remember one specific screenshot of the trailer of our main cat, Victoria, who was like a fairly light gray, if not just white cat, and having pink and purple neon light reflecting on her, and it looks really bad. Some of that didn't look all that great, but we see Jennifer Hudson's character, Isabel, is that what you said? Who's
Grisabelle.
Grisabelle. Okay.
Grisabella, sorry.
Grisabella. Okay, lots of names. Everyone has 3 names. Sometimes a name gets 3 attempts. Yeah. None of the other cats, for the most part, want to associate with her, and she seems distant, but we get the sense that she wants to not be alone, etc., etc. She goes off. Our main cat, Victoria, who is just confused about everything, because she's never had anyone actually sit down and be like, here's how this world works. Everything has to be in a song and dance number. They all move on. Then we get bumped into, is this, I forget his name, but we get introduced.
Jones?
What's up?
Bustifer Jones? The
Actually,
one?
I forgot about him. But yes,
Corden?
we get introduced to, I was going to go to James Corden, but we get introduced to, the Curious Cat, who it has his own song and dance number in the street, and it's more of like
most of them. A lot of this middle part is just here's a character with their song about them. That even though the character really doesn't matter too much in the big scheme of things, except for like the magic one, which was Mr. Mistopheles. He actually has a purpose later on towards the end, so I'm glad they introduced that he is this cat. Magic cat, yeah. But other than that, some of them
and he gets
are just
introduced
for fun, basically.
Well, I mean, because he gets his own song and dance number later on, they don't actually introduce him and his stuff through. I mean,
they mention here and there that he has magic,
but he pops in and out of other songs to show what he does.
Yeah.
And you don't quite get the sense. You get the sense that he is not this extremely graceful and suave person, but you also don't get the sense that a lot of his clumsy fallings and failures aren't exactly not planned. So he was cool. But we get introduced to the Curious Cat. I forgot what his name was. And his whole song and dance is about how...
Growl Tiger? No, that can't be it.
I don't know. His whole shtick is that,
like some cats...
Anyway, his whole thing is that wherever he is, he doesn't want to be there, and then he's always changing his mind, right? We get through a weird, they're warping around town, I feel like, explaining this. So if this was in real life and they're singing, there's a lot of stopping to sing. Let's move to a different set and then sing again. He is a character that does not matter. His last line is when they enter the theater and we don't ever get to hear from him again. Just funny. We get through his shtick. Then we get to James Corden's character. He's the fat cat. He's over 25 pounds, I guess. And his whole song is about how he's the cat that everyone knows. I assume when he says everyone knows, he means the people. Because a lot of these songs start to go on to this is a song about a type of cat you see in real life and how people like treat that cat, not an owned cat. And he's one of these cats where he's clearly like a stray, but he's the one that all the elderly people greet when they walk by, and he has his favorite trash cans he goes to and he eats. It's disgusting. This was actually a disgusting part of the movie. I had to actually visually picture these actors in just mocap suits holding giant blue props in order to get rid of the disgust in my brain. Yeah, we go through his song and dance. It ends. Again, he's not a character that matters at all. McCavity, a.k.a. Idris Elba, a.k.a. the bad guy, tricks him. And I actually kind of liked him. This is how we see that Idris Elba's character is a bit more of a trickster. Because before he was just like, to Rebel Wilson, he was just like, oh, you could be a star. And then he just snaps his finger like Thanos and they disappear.
Yeah.
And for this character, he actually tricks him saying, oh, you really want all this food? Just jump on in. Just jump on. And he jumps on in and he warps him away. So we see that he's a bit of a trickster here. And then this is where we get introduced to where he took Rebel Wilson and now James Corden on a boat in the water. There's another cat there who's like the guard or whatever, and they're chained up. And Idris Elba like a little bit reveals that, he's also in the contest, and if he gets rid of all the other participants,
he'll win by default or whatever.
It has to be with him, right? Which seems like a good plan, although we haven't been shown how the selection is being made, and perhaps they're like, hey, why would we give a murderer the prize? I don't know. We cut back. No one seems to notice that these two characters are gone. A commotion happens, and all the cats leave. Victoria doesn't know where to go. Even the characters that seem to care about her just abandon her, and they never actually touch up on that.
I think they ran away kind of from McCavity.
Was it him?
Yeah, it was when McCavity, it was kind of a weird cut. Basically, McCavity came...
Does he come back and talk to her and then leave?
I think it's later. There's a lot of... Because what next is Mungo Jerry and Rumple Teaser.
Those are the people, yeah.
Yeah, who are like the thief cats or the vigilantes.
And I actually didn't mind this part.
I liked them. I thought they were good. They were fun.
And we get this song, and not really a dance, but more of just a song, is like a montage of them ransacking a house, stealing things, explaining this is the type of cat that when you go home and you see all your stuff is flung everywhere, it was them, and they just do it just because they like to, and it's...
That's the closest thing to my cat.
But when we introduce to these people, it's right after everyone abandons Victoria, and they're like, oh, all your friends left you, huh? But we never get sent back to that. Whatever. We go through the whole song. There's the fear of a dog's presence, which never is a really big deal. They all try to leave, but Victoria, who is covered in jewels and stuff from all of the ransacking, is tied up. And the two cats, that I think they were kind of like twins, abandon her. Get it? Whatever. And then Mr. Mistopheles, the magic cat, comes in and helps her. He saves her. He's like, I've been looking everywhere for you. We wanted to, make sure you were there for when, what's her name arrives. Old
Deuteronomy.
Yes, that old. We'll call her old. I'll call her old. Arrives. So she's like, oh, what's going on? What's that? And, they go to the theater, the Egyptian, with the giant Egyptian cat in the front.
Pretty dope.
Yeah.
I'd go there. Or club? I guess it was a club.
The mall that we went to see this movie was not the other mall in the area that I've been to that you haven't, that has a giant Cinemark and the outside of it is a giant Egyptian-themed thing, and it's pretty dope. I don't know if the theater is actually good or not, and I wish it was an AMC. Anyway, they're at the steps of the theater, and they're waiting for old Deuteronomy. Yes.
Judi Dench.
They're waiting for Old Spice to show up. Old Spice shows up, and she has a little bit of a song about how she's Old Spice. I'm sorry, it's 11:42 p.m. and I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay up though because I have to do things. And she explains that, I think this is where she explains in song that she is the one that chooses. I get the sense that she has been alive for many lifetimes.
She's been reincarnated or something. I don't know. This is where she gets to decide whoever does the best song and dance
about themselves. And she points this out later. It's not about the performance. It's about expressing your soul.
And then they get to go to basically
they get reincarnated.
yeah.
But it's not quite exactly sure what that means. I actually wanted to see that actually shown. Spoilers, I wanted to see the winner actually shown reincarnated.
Heavy side layer is their heaven or whatever that they were talking about. That's where they go, I guess.
I didn't understand what they meant by that either.
That's what I'm saying. That's where they go. That's the heaven where they're reincarnated. That's the location name.
Location. Put a ping on your map. Let's go. She explains all this and that, and I don't think she recognizes that there's a new person in the group. Side note to this whole contest thing, we have some old cats, and what happens if they don't get picked? You just die and that's it, right?
I think they live forever. I think it, like I said, I think this is like a purgatory thing. Where
hope so, because it feels kind of fucked up. Like, what if she picks like a kitten that was just born? It's like, you get reincarnated, and like,
I mean,
Ian McKellen's like, I'm dying.
Yeah, so I'm saying, like, Ian McKellen's like on his deathbed, and she's like, "That was great. That was great. That was fantastic."
Next,
she would be really proud.
So I like what you suggested. Hopefully, it's that. I don't think she recognizes that Victoria is present or whatever. There's a lot of cats. Like I said, that was one of my complaints. Is there's too many cats on screen sometimes.
Yeah. Then they dance again with the moon. That happens.
Yep. And this is another one of those dance and song numbers.
It goes on for a while here.
Where it goes on forever and everyone is singing.
We can kind of skip basically most of this where it's like, then Victoria goes outside.
We skip through all the theater stuff where they're saying, oh, we're in a theater, blah, 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 blah. Like you said, we cut to Victoria going outside because she noticed Grisabella.
Yes. Yep.
Is out there peeking in because she's like, oh, I'm interested, but I'm still I'm an outcast, but I'm interested. And this is where we get the Moonlight song, which is the song I had known existed. She sings that, and she's sad, and she goes to turn away to leave because she knows she's not welcome. And Victoria sings the only other good song in this movie, just because I like the line about beautiful ghosts. I thought that was actually
it's a good
clever,
song. I liked it.
Clever wordplay, and I like it when a song rhymes and it's not exactly perfect. Like I think rhymes go with ghost or something.
It's like
you would actually rhyme it with the st part in ghost, not the go in ghost, but like it works in the song. In any case,
Judi Dench is watching in the window as she sings.
Yep. Even though all the other people are like, all the other cats in there are like waiting.
I thought they were sleeping or something. I don't know. They were tired from the moon dance.
They did kind of point into like, oh, like, you know how like, oh, it's a full moon out, my cat's just nuts today. You know? Like at one point, all of their tails go up in unison. Actually, I think it is for the moon dance.
Yeah.
Stupid moon dance. Victoria goes back inside. Judi Dench, is she Professor McGonagall? You have the computer. I think she's Professor McGonagall.
Judi Dench is old Deuteronomy.
I know that, but did she play Professor McGonagall in the Harry Potter movies?
Yes.
I'm not saying that there's a character called Professor McGonagall.
I don't know. Like, I read all the Harry Potter books and I don't remember any of it. So you could have told me that was a cat's character and I would have believed you. You could have went with that.
Well, is she the woman from Downton Abbey? One of the many. This is when we get her introduction, hers and Victoria's introduction to one another for real. And she's like, Victoria's like, I don't know if I'm welcome here. And she's like, bitch, you didn't whore yourself out to Idris Elba, so you're good. She doesn't say that, actually. She's like, oh, well, you will be. You just got to learn our ways, or she says something about that. Still, by the way, not quite certain. She had a name from the family. Speaking of cats, my cat's jumping around on cardboard boxes. But she also was, like, abandoned. Kind of like how you would leave, like, a newborn kitten.
Yeah.
So I wasn't quite certain how old she was supposed to be, because at one point Ian McKellen says these kittens and a bunch of cats get disappointed, so I assumed they were the kittens, and they didn't look young,
unless he's just calling like basically the equivalent of a millennial, just being, you millennials don't understand us boomer cats. So
well, I have a millennial cat running around in the background. They get introduced to one another like I mentioned, and then I believe we start the actual production, right?
Yeah.
And the first one is Ian McKellen.
Gus the theater cat.
His name was Asparagus, according to his song. Or at least he likens the name Gus to being shorthand for something, because that's the kind of cat he is. People don't refer to him as this elegant name. He's just Gus. Maybe Asparagus was just like a way of saying that. In any case,
He goes...
Ian McKellen kills it, and Mr. Mistopheles does his magic thing at the end to help him because he's a big fan.
Yeah, huge fan.
We don't really need a backstory on him. But and this is what's weird. Gus is an old cat that's been around the block. He's far from a beginner. But he's also still, when Idris Elba's character, McCavity, is around the corner, he's still, like, tricked by him, by the stupidest thing.
Yeah.
Kind of like Rebel Wilson. McCavity's just there. He's like, oh, I'm such a big fan. Can I get your autograph? And he's like, wow, someone did like me, even though everyone clapped for him. He had, like, a huge fan, like, actually help him win, or help him attempt to win, you know? But this guy's like, can I get an autograph? And then he's sucked away, which is just weird to me. Anyway, moving on. Then we get the Railroad Cat.
Yeah, which I like that song, and I like the whole...
I like the premise because yes, I'm sure there is cats that like we associate importance with this cat. Oh, he's the boss because he always hangs around here. But like, I did like the assumption that in this fantasy land, the cat assumes he has that importance. You know what I mean? I appreciated the premise,
and I like the.
I didn't care for the song.
Actually, I actually like the song. I like the whole. I'm a fan of the what's that the thing called
tap dancing.
Yeah, I guess. I like that shit. I'm a sucker, I guess. I'll watch someone if you send me like a Facebook video of someone tap dancing, I'll be like, okay, I'll watch this. So
if you say so. And this part's really weird to me because he does like a jump in the air and this is snapped. And I don't know if we're immediately introduced to Taylor Swift's character, but in the very sense, if not immediately, if they didn't have time immediately to, later, no one's actually worried because this is the first time these characters have seen someone be snapped.
Yeah.
Because everyone else was around the corner.
It's like McCavity stopped being mischievous and was just like, okay, no.
Outright about it.
Yeah.
But none of these characters, if like, I'm assuming that there was time in between this and the Taylor Swift music number. But if not, still, there was definitely time after it when nothing seemed to be completely wrong and they weren't like, what the hell happened to him? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm assuming, I'm just going to jump to Taylor Swift because I don't think anything happened in between.
Yeah, I mean, it's
besides
her bit was actually a lot quicker than I thought it was going to. Or
thankfully.
Yeah, she was all right. I didn't really.
No, yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure T Swift fans love it, so congrats.
Yeah.
But then also after during that time, that's when she uses the catnip to basically stun everybody.
I caught on that it was catnip. That's what we can use to make the cats crazy. For some reason, the only two people it didn't affect, or at least didn't touch, was Victoria. And
it touched her a little bit,
Judi
but it
Dench.
just made her more almost drunk, almost, where she's just kind of
maybe she's too young because my cat is not affected by catnip at all, and she's 3 months old. Maybe it's an age thing. I don't know.
But then
also, by the way, James Corden drinks wine in a garbage can early in this movie, and I wanted a comment on that not being healthy for an animal.
Old Deuteronomy's snapped away too with Idris Elba.
Well, this is when we see Idris Elba
for the first.
We back up before her being snapped away. We're introduced to him, and he's like. Basically, it almost looked like he was naked in real life, and they put fur on him. It was very weird. And he ends Taylor Swift's music, and he's like, "All right, and announce the winner. Announce it. Like it has to be me, right? There's no one else here." He's kind of has his arms outstretched, being like, "And she's gonna announce the winner, and it's gonna be me. I'm ready." She's like, "It'll never be you because you're a fucking asshole." And he's like, "Fine." Then he snaps her. They're all on the boat. He makes her walk the plank. He's like, "Oh, she won't swim. She's so old." And then the longest possible 3 seconds happens where she's about to get pushed off. And we get 2 songs in between. And then she's saved.
Basically, it cuts back to the stage or back to the Egypt theater, yeah, where they're trying to convince Mr. Mistopheles to use his magic, and it takes forever for him to get his crap together. And every time it was like, okay, this is the time where he's going to use his magic. It doesn't happen.
And I had issues a little bit with it, obviously, because I assumed that way he describes his magic is like a cat in real life, where oh, you must be magic because I lost this thing and it's been 3 months and here it is again. It was you. he always was giving the impression that his magic was just tricks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the cat you would describe as a magic cat in real life. So I never actually expected him to bring her back. And you know how in a lot of movies or whatever, maybe not necessarily magic specifically, but there is just a sense of like, if I believe, like, focus, I could, like the Force, essentially. Luke Skywalker with the Force. And instead he's just like trying to like, it doesn't actually look like he's trying.
Or believes that what he's doing will actually work.
I got that bit of the song stuck in my head. And then Judi Dench is back. She's like, oh, thank you. I would reincarnate you right now for saving my life, but no. And then, so this is, I actually need to back up because I think that there was a major scene that was cut. Because it's very weird to me when Idris Elba snaps Judi Dench and they disappear together. Taylor Swift is down there still a little bit, and she makes a threat or she says some, aggressive comment, and she disappears too. And I believe Idris Elba was like talking to her, being like, all right, let's do our next thing or something like that. And then we never see Taylor Swift again, and we never see McCavity again until the very end of the movie. I feel like there was a cut scene. There had to be something.
Well, like I looked up a little bit earlier how long the Cats play is. It's actually 2 hours and 20 minutes, including a intermission. So it's actually not that much longer, I don't think, than the film.
There has to be something, because we literally don't see him until after we have
the movie is an hour and 50
Grisabella.
minutes.
We have Grisabella sing her song. She gets chosen. It's a beautiful moment. She's put in a chandelier, which is also a hot air balloon, and put up into and she floats up into the sky, and she's all happy because she's about to go meet, the cat named Yahweh or whatever. And Idris Elba just jumps onto a dangling rope on it. Even though he's got claws, he slips and falls. He falls onto a very high spot, so he's not hurt. So we know he's alive. I feel like he should have died anyway, like a classic Disney villain from animated Disney films that dies because of their own thing. What did the guy in Tarzan do? I think he accidentally hangs himself, or something like that. Maybe that was Beauty and the Beast. Like his own actions kill him. Our protagonists don't actually involve in combat that kills the enemy, but instead he's alive or whatever, and that's just it. He tries to poof himself onto the ground, and that doesn't work, but there was no real explanation for that.
Yeah, they really didn't. I was like, oh, does he just run? Did he run out of catnip? I don't know.
Maybe we just ran out of time. Speaking of running out of time, we get the ending music thing, which I could not, for a longest time, I thought Judi Dench was singing to Victoria with a side eye, and then I realized, oh, she's just staring at the camera.
Well, from what I read on Wikipedia, in the musical, Deuteronomy is the narrator, and it speaks directly to the audience, like it breaks the fourth wall. But they don't do it in the play.
Does she ever interact with the cast?
She does, but everyone is like, basically the cats know they're being watched by you, the crowd, and they didn't do that with this.
Huh. Maybe she should have opened the movie.
Yeah.
Instead of had this weird reveal, which I thought, whatever. Let's not jump backwards in time. Let's jump forwards. They're all sitting on what I thought was the ING Bank Lion. But then I realized, no, this is in London. There's 4 of them. They're sitting on the Stone Lion, which I didn't catch until the very last second. I'm like, oh, wait, that's a cat. Okay. That's why they're there. Singing about how you treat a cat. And I almost said this out loud because Judi Dench is like, she's talking to the audience, us, and she's like, and how would you address a cat? And I wanted to be like, with a fucking gun. This movie.
Don't say that in the theater, please.
With fire.
I'm not helping you when the police come.
Because I'm using your car to get away. And the movie ends.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It just ends?
Yeah. Kind of.
It ends. And then I immediately was like, I have had a pee since the first fifth of this movie. I don't care if Iron Man is in this post-credit scene. I'm going to the bathroom.
I actually had to run back after we left because I left my glove fell out of my pocket, so I had to go back and grab it. But I had to avoid all the Star Wars fans because they also just came out too, and I'm like,
oh my god!
And people were like, wow, that was all right, and I was like, nah, yelling, and some running.
Yeah, we're seeing Star Wars in 2 days, or in 1 day, because in 1 minute it's going to be midnight. Let's wrap this up. So that was the movie. We gave our thoughts on it at the beginning. I think there was a theme about, and I realized halfway through, it was like, oh, this is actually about ways of describing or giving human characteristics to certain cat behaviors. And like, what a fun thing that is. Maybe I'll learn more about my cat after watching this. I think that was kind of like the themes going on. And also, like, I don't really think there was no one was really redeemed, kind of. I mean, Grisabella sung a song and was redeemed, but like, again,
Ian McKellen wasn't.
No, what's her name? Judi Dench even mentions it has nothing to do with the performance. It's about the soul, and nothing in her soul made it seem as if she wasn't as deserving as she was when she won. So I didn't really see any growth. Victoria's growth is literally just, I gain knowledge about what's happening. And because I'm ignorant about everything, I don't understand why people are mean to this cat. And I don't want people to be mean to me. But there's no, like, actual growth besides, like, her getting more lines later on in the movie.
Yeah.
Mr. Mistopheles gets to be a hero, and I think that's it for him. Ian McKellen gets less screen time. I guess that's it for him. Idris Elba is stuck on a statue. Like, there wasn't really any, like, themes or character growths or messages other than just, like, hey, you people watching this probably have cats. I bet you can recognize, your cat is one of these characters. Get it? I think that was pretty much it for me. I don't know, what did you see in this movie that I might be missing?
I kind of saw the same thing. I want to learn. If anything, I'm more intrigued and I want to learn more about it. I feel like there's, like you said, sometimes it was hard to understand what they were saying because they lose a lot of weird lingo. So I would like to actually look at the lyrics, or at least maybe,
and they use it in song.
Maybe watch some videos on YouTube of like more analysis of it. I'm sure there's other stuff we're missing. Because it's... And
I will say this. Sorry to cut you off. I would like this movie 10 million times better if David Bowie was still alive. Damn well he would have been in this movie. And I would have liked this movie a lot better if he was still alive and in it. Sorry, go on. I didn't really like this movie. I'm not going to lie.
I genuinely enjoyed it just because I think I was already intrigued going in. Because I used to do plays and / musicals in high school. I generally liked it. I like the idea of them and how there's a certain like art form to it. So I can appreciate for what it is. And I think I'm happy that it stuck to what it is. Like you were saying earlier, it stuck being like, it was confident. Whether or not it executed it is up to you to decide. I don't know.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Like I said, the animation I feel like that's the main reason we're, reviewing this is more of just the look, I guess, like you were saying, of mixed between live action and cartoony kind of characters. Overall, I didn't think the designs really were that bad. It stuck to the musical thing, like you were saying.
I got more used to the designs as we went on.
Yeah,
but
I stopped thinking about it.
Still never looked like
they could have done a better job.
Convincing.
I think
they looked more convincing in relative to each other.
Yeah,
but like I said, as soon as I saw, like, especially in the second half of the movie, when Grisabella gets more screen time, like her fur coat looks so much more real than her. So like I don't know, like I forgot what if we ever looked up what the budget is of this movie. I think that's a reoccurring thing on this podcast, is us not knowing the budgets on a movie. And obviously a whole lot of it is all visual effects.
95 million.
95 million. This entire movie had to be done on green screen. Like, everything is too big.
Some parts looked like it was real, so I'm guessing they used like small models and then just used a camera to film things. Maybe some people were actually on set, I don't know. And then other people were like, Taylor Swift, couldn't make it to the actual set, so we will just...
Because she doesn't touch anyone, right?
No.
So they could have very easily filmed her like after everyone else's shooting is done.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why there was that parent scene missing in my head. Because they couldn't film her doing something that required interaction.
But yeah, I think I would compare the design closer to like I like it in the sense of that it stuck to the original musical. If you look at any like set pictures or anything, it looks pretty similar. Just obviously it's CG for the rest of the body. I don't like the rest of the body usually, but I like the face makeup. I like the head part of the makeup. Everything else, I'm like iffy about. And I will say I guess the fur looked good. It just didn't fit. I don't know. It just didn't look right. Kind of like when
there were times where like it didn't look like they were completely furry and that they were just flat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I understand like the way light works, you know what I mean, on fur. Like you're not going to see
Honestly,
every single hair all the time. But there were parts where I'm like, this almost feels like it's like an animated, regular animated. We're not going to, have 7 million different hair follicles on the animation character.
Honestly, I will say that the original Sonic design, I think, looked more furry at points than this did.
100%.
More spiny, I guess, more gelled.
Definitely had more definition going on than some of these cats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any closing thoughts
on what was your favorite cat?
Because
I have one.
I guess Ian McKellen, but I think it would just because he's Ian McKellen. I would go with Grisabella, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, she was good too. I'm gonna say Rum Tug Tugger. Jason Derulo he has some swag. He was confidently.
He actually looked like he sold the movie to people.
Yeah, I appreciate that most of the actors I felt like really were like, you know what, I'm gonna really commit to this, and they weren't afraid of it. Like I said, like you were saying, confidence. I think at least they were confident. I think
Ian McKellen had confidence, but he is like way more of a character actor than any of these other people. So like,
yeah,
he sold it, but he sold his character. Not
like Taylor Swift's character. She could have easily just come out as Taylor Swift, not cat form, and I would have been like, yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
So, James Corden kind of played himself. I mean, I liked his number, but he kind of played himself. But once again, we didn't watch the original musical. Maybe this happened to be something that they're like, yep, James Corden's got to do this.
Same thing, honestly, with Rebel Wilson. Rebel Wilson's interesting in that, like, as the main actor, all of those movies that she's the main actor in are not good. But when she's a supporting actor, like, she's actually good. But she was a supporting actor in this, and this is where some of the comedy came from. There's some couple random, quote-unquote, funny lines that she gives that I forgot what the line was. I swear they did one take, and they used it. Or they lost the other takes, because she says something, and it's, like, so, like... and she's remembering the line as she's supposed to be saying it, kind of a thing. And it was supposed to be funny. And it was not funny. The least favorite cat, I would say Taylor Swift, just to make fans angry. I don't know.
But yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed it. Not amazing by any means, but I'm intrigued. I like weird stuff, so I'm happy with it.
All right, that's the final thing we have to say on the Cats, the movie, the musical, the movie, 2019. I think the official title is just Cats, right? Yeah. Next week is going to be a regular episode. The Sonic Movie Show is a weekly show that you can find on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, and YouTube. Just simply search the Sonic Movie Show to find it. Give us a like, give us a review, a rating, all that awesome stuff. You can find me on Twitter at EthanAbsolutely. You can follow Devin on Twitter, and I suggest you don't, because his opinions on cats are bad. At Cursona YouTube, which is Cursona YouTube. Obviously, follow the show itself on Twitter, at Sonic Movie Show. And yeah, check us out on those places. We have some older episodes that I think are pretty good, especially last episode, episode 15. This was episode 16, and episode 17 might be a bit of a banger too, but we're going to leave that a bit of a surprise. So yeah, until next time. Bye.
Wouldn't have really known what they were